friend.
Hey, Alva.
Hi, lovely to meet you finally.
This is great. This is great. So, I mean, we've never had a chance to speak before. It's like our first face to face.
Yep, yep. It's very exciting.
Where are you? Where do you live?
I'm in Dallas, Texas.
Oh, I don't know why I thought that you were, I actually thought you were like from Europe or somewhere.
I have lived abroad, but it's been some years. I'm originally from Washington, D.C., but I've been here 23 years this past December. So,
Wow. Because I
yeah,
mean, we've been kind of chatting back and forth for at least 6 months or a year
probably longer. Yeah,
longer.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I would say I'm a child of the universe. You know what I mean? Like I study a lot of different traditions. I really resonate with a lot of Hindu stuff, and
Oh,
I'm not necessarily into reincarnation, but I feel like I must have been Hindu in another life because just the affinity I have for it is nothing that one can explain. And my mom would say the same thing. She was like, "I don't know where you're from, but it is not here."
so like the Shiva Shakti, like
Yeah, yeah.
like
I
the
followed a
masculine
Hindu group.
feminine energy of
Yes, yes, and I love
Hinduism.
that there are like 100 different aspects of the divine, and so you can call upon any one of them, like to awaken that in yourself or activate that energy or get some assistance from that energy, however you want to label it.
So there's no specific name for it. You can call out to it under many different names.
Absolutely, absolutely, yeah.
There's no real fixed way to connect with creative energy. Like there's just so many different ways to connect with creative energy and understand creative energy and interpret it. And
Absolutely. And depending upon like what you're doing, right? Like so Krishna is most associated with love and playfulness. Shiva is associated with strength, power, the destroyer of ignorance. Ganesha is the one with the elephant head. He is the bringer of knowledge and to help you remove obstacles and also prosperity. Lakshmi, she's for prosperity. Like they all have different things and they all have these wonderful divine stories of their parentage, if you will. And so you can chant to any one of them. They often align with specific chakras as well. So if you feel blocked in a certain area, you can call on them for that, or just sit with whichever one. Like they all basically stand for love and the destruction of ignorance. But the thing I think I like about Hinduism the most is that it's all about an inside relationship with the universe instead of an outside relationship. If you do the work here, then it shows up out there. Like they're not going to do anything magical for you. You know what I mean? You have to be open to that energy, and their energy is your energy. That's the thing. I grew up in a really traditional Christian family with the big old white dude in the sky with the white hair and the rod and the staff, and it just didn't fit. Like I would just be like, I don't get it. Like why would it make children and then kill us because and send us to like burning hell, you know what I mean? Because we don't follow it. Like your parents usually know that you're probably gonna get into some mischief before you get into mischief. So an omnipotent, omniscient, omnipresent being, doesn't it already know that too? It just didn't fit. I could never wrap my mind around it. I drove my
all
family
the missing
crazy.
pieces just doesn't compute.
I drove my people crazy, but they're very traditional. My uncles are ministers. I've got aunts that are ministers, and I would be constantly
Okay,
asking
right.
questions. Well, what
So the
about this? What about this?
spirituality is all around you, and you need to be a part of it, and you appreciate spirit because it's all around you, but you're not really. like jiving with the spirit lingo that everybody else is totally dreaming late
No,
on. So like you're like, this doesn't work all the way for me.
it didn't make sense. It didn't make sense.
Doesn't fulfill me, doesn't answer all my questions. I need more. I gotta find more. I gotta look for more. I gotta search for more.
or even how, like, to me, it feels like they're a little bit disconnected with their teaching. I know the Old Testament is the old law and the New Testament is the new law. Trust me, I know the Bible inside and out. But if Jesus said, like, there's just two commandments, love one another as I've loved you, and, treat your brother the way you want to be treated, then how do you dismiss that? To like judge people, to be unkind, to be violent. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, it just doesn't make sense, whether it was back then or here now. So I don't knock it. Don't get me wrong. I tell people I have Jesus in my DNA because I was in my mama's womb and she was at church all the time. You know what I mean? So
Christ
um
consciousness.
absolutely.
It's a consciousness.
Absolutely.
It's one
Absolutely.
thing. It's Christ consciousness. It's the Hinduism. It's the
Exactly. Buddhism,
it's
all of it. It's
love.
the same.
It's one thing. There's one
Yep.
thing, and we've got different ways and different traditions in different parts of the world where they explain the story in a different way.
Yes, absolutely. I'm in 100% agreement.
And so I mean, you can go to any of the stories and you can practice any
Yes,
of the stories and you can learn something that is in that tradition that is a little bit different but gives you a little bit different perspective or a little bit different view of God, or the because we're talking about something that's a little bigger than what can fit in one book or one concept.
right. Or one language, or exactly, exactly. There's something that from metaphysics and the science of mind, they say there's a golden thread between all truth, be it philosophical, scientific, or religious. And that has been my experience on my 56 years on the
Connection with
planet.
everything. It has to be a connection of all things because it comes from the same thing. So it's connected to all things and it comes different names and different faces and different stories. But I mean, it's one story. It's the story of love. It's a story of life. It's the story that
Absolutely.
we all have, and we all have a story. That's
Yes, yes,
so we can all
100%.
connect to the same story within our own self. We have the same story, the same story.
Yes, it's our story. That story is our story. That story is our story. And that's what a broader view did for me. Like, it's like, okay, now that makes sense to me. Okay, I can wrap my mind around that. I can get on board with that. I actually have something I can follow to practice. You know what I mean? Yeah.
And
So
this is
maybe
the
that's why you
thing
thought
though.
I wasn't
But if
condemned.
we take too narrow a view by just looking at one story only, is what happens.
Yes.
If you
Yes.
only look at one story, then the story kind of implodes on itself because
Absolutely.
you start to think that, well, my story's the right story, and then the other story must be the wrong story then.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And as
Absolutely.
soon as you get into deep into your story, then the other story becomes a wrong story. And then we got a problem because then we're gonna fight.
There's my daughter taught me this quote years and years and years ago. It's by Bono. I'm going to butcher it a little bit, but it basically says to be one may be great, but to honor each other's differences may be greater. And that just so resonated with me, right? Because even with what's happening in our country, right? If this is the land of the free, I don't get to tell you you got to like me. I don't get to tell you that you can't say mean things to me. I don't have to listen to you. I don't have to stand there and take it. Do you know what I mean? I don't even get to tell you not to carry a gun. I'm going to ask you not to shoot me. And I'm going to hold people that say I work for the public accountable for what you're saying that you do. But I still don't get to make you wrong because we don't have the same philosophy. Like, I don't understand. If this is the land of the free, then let's not try to be the same. We can be mindful, as you said, that we're one and we each have a story, right? But unity isn't sameness. It's not uniformity. It's uniqueness and cherishing that.
Choice, right? That's free
Yeah.
will. That's free will. There has to be free will.
Yes. 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 And the whole
Everyone
thing,
has
like
to
you
be able
said,
to choose.
exactly. And that's when we create problems. When I want to take away your right to choose, or like you said, tell you my way is the way. No, my way is the way for me. until it
get to
isn't.
be able to say my story. You get to be able to say your story. We get to listen to each other's story. And then, between the two stories or between the stories, maybe we find some truth that blends in between, or we talk about what we're going to do with our two stories. We're going to create something different with our two stories, but it's not to stop the other person from sharing their story.
Exactly. That's what I love about your page. That's what drew me. And I like that you don't say this is the only way. You're very transparent about, like, here's what I've tried, here's what's working for me, here's what's not, here's what else I'm trying. And even when somebody comes on and um their perspective is what I would call maybe single-minded, you know what I mean? Like, and I respect that because their experience has done that for them. I understand that there's this thing about sometimes focused effort. You can't go four ways at once. You know what I mean? You can only walk forward, sideways, or backwards at
We have
one
to
time.
work through this thing, and then when that's done, we're going to work through the next thing. So everyone's in a different place, and there's no right or wrong place. And I'm not saying one place is better than the other.
Exactly. Exactly. I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that. I can't say I've always been, but at least the last 20 years I've been on that page. Like, I don't know what's right for you and you don't know what's right for me, but you may know something that will benefit me. So I'm going to listen to you. You know, that's
Listen. It's just to listen to another person. That we need to be listened. We need to be heard. Everyone needs to be heard. Everyone needs to hear their own self.
yes,
We need to like speak our own thing out to somebody else and have a conversation. Like it's for a mirror of ourself. It's just for our own
absolutely.
self to sharpen our saw and get our own clarity, and we need that. That's what
Absolutely.
relationship's about.
Absolutely.
So we need it. We
Absolutely.
need it. So we
Yeah.
have to be able to share our experiences with each other.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And that's what's going on right now is they're stopping people from being able to express themselves.
Yeah. Yeah. And people have a right to be up in arms, not talking about physical arms, but up in arms about that, because you're right. It's our birthright to be able to speak and share. It would be we'd be a much more advanced world if we could allow others to share, to listen for understanding, not necessarily agreement, but at least be able to listen and go away and even say without anger, you know what, I don't really buy into that, but you know what, I'm going to go away and think about it, because if I'm already deciding after talking to you for 10 minutes I don't buy into it, I probably haven't really even listened to what you said or trying to see it from your perspective.
Yeah, like
Do you know what I
why
mean?
would that person think like that? What is that doing for that person? What like and then what if I thought like that and what would it do for me? And is that what I want to think? Would that be better for me? And you got to kind of try it on inside of your head a little bit. It's a little bit of trial and error with someone else's story, and that's what it is. And then you kind of decide, well, what part fits for you and what part doesn't fit for you, because you've got to fill in the blanks yourself. Everyone has to find
Absolutely.
your own internal story. Like you've got to find your own inner being, your beingness, your true self, your inner source, your
Yeah.
intuition, your wisdom.
Yeah.
You've got to find your inner feeling somehow. You've got to connect to it, and it can happen. And I teach fasting as a big part of that, because when you stop taking it in from the outside, well, that means I have to get it from the inside.
Yep.
So if we can put the physical things away for a minute, it doesn't mean we have to eliminate everything, but by liberating myself from it, by taking a break from it, it empowers me to realize that I am in charge of it.
Yes.
And it's about pushing into the discomfort a little bit, because this is a big part of creating changes. It always happens in the discomfort.
Yeah. I would
Finding
agree.
peace, finding some peace in the discomfort, finding some balance and comfort and ease within the cold.
Yeah. Yeah. You should be saying more about that. Didn't you just buy a big cold tub? Didn't
Yeah,
I
well,
see
this
that?
is it. This is exactly what it is. It's like going into the cold is the same as pressing into your fears or pressing into your darkness. And it's like is a part of you that's it's cold. Part of life is cold. Like if you're gonna say, I don't want to be a part of that part of life, like then that's conditional.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Then you're not saying I love life. Like, no, I only like this part of life.
Yeah.
I only like you if you do this.
Yeah,
I'm only
exactly.
happy with you. You're only good if you do that for me.
Yes, yes.
That's
I,
conditional love. That's what we learned. That's what they
I,
taught us. Two-way street. It's not the best. That's not.
about, yeah, about 16 years, maybe a little more, I came across this book. Have you ever heard of it, called Real Love by Greg Bear?
Oh.
It's an old book, but he's got like tons of them now. Real Love on Marriage, Parenting, you name it. But the premise was, he happened to come to the community that I was at, and he said, most of us know what you just said. Most of us have only ever experienced conditional love. Real love is my will for you, is your will for you. And that just was like, no wonder you get so mad at your parents or the people you're in relationship with or your bosses, because other people make you responsible for their happiness. And like as a child, like you don't have the language for it, but you know, you're like, you're not sad because of me. You know what I mean? And so it's like, it was like, yes. And then I really loved diving into it. It was like, oh, my parents couldn't give me what they don't know. Wow, they couldn't give me what they never received. Holy crap. So now where am I showing up like that in the world? Which took a huge burden off of my kids, you know what I mean? And then he didn't like it so much, you know what I mean? Because if they would be like, Mom, you're making me mad. I'm like, no, sweetheart, you don't like what I'm saying. And so you're attributing that to me. You don't have to be mad just because you don't like something. And then, so, you know, we went through, they're like, what's happening to you? You're so weird. And I'm like, it's okay to be weird. It might not be your kind of weird, you know what I mean? But it's okay. But it's like you said, that's not how we're taught. We're also taught, you talk about this a lot on your page. We're also taught with like all the authorities are outside of ourselves, you know, and that starts when we're little too. With what I think is beautiful as a grandmother is seeing that little guy come out and watching his intelligence grow, but noticing from the start his intelligence. Do you know what I mean? And so I had conversations with my daughter about this, and my old boss, who had a baby like about a year behind my daughter, and she goes, so are you telling me like I was like, you don't teach him to be smart, honey. He's already smart. He's already intelligent. Like he has actual preference. Just because he might not have language doesn't mean he doesn't have preference. And then she would say, well, babies are manipulative. I said, babies aren't manipulative. That's a projection. How can an infant be? It doesn't know the first thing about manipulation. It knows I'm wet, I'm hungry, I want to be held, I want to be seen, you know, like that's not manipulation. That's relationship. I'm asking to interact with you, and you brought me here. So I would like for you to interact with me, you
How
know,
many
kind of
kids do
thing.
you have, Alva?
I have two. I have a 36-year-old and a 29-year-old. And my daughter just had my second grandson. He'll be 2 weeks tomorrow.
Oh my gosh, your second grandson.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
And
So
he
how
is
old are you?
56. I'll be 57 in March.
57.
Yeah.
And you sound energetic and happy and spry and healthy and
I'm energetic and I'm spry. I'm healthy as far as like I don't have any, you know, like diabetes or anything like that. I do still because yeah, I do still experience osteoarthritis. So I have some mobility issues in my joints. But that, and I own that completely. That's diet related. I've done better at times. I've done really good at times, and I haven't. And so recently I've been doing a lot of diving into like what's this pattern? Get really, really healthy and then go backwards. And so I just decided to turn it loose because I feel like I've been on this wheel to get healthy for years. And so I'm actually maybe doing the opposite is what I'm affirming. Like I'm so focused on the getting rid of something, pushing something away. And so I've been doing some hypnotherapy, and it was a day when I was really achy, and my hypnotherapist told me to like to find contentment right where I am, exactly as I am in my life. Oh my God, I got so mad. I didn't say anything to him, but I got so mad. And I thought, is he nuts? Does he know what it's like to hobble around and not be able to put your socks on some days, or struggle to put your shoes on or whatever? But I also know myself well enough to know when I have that big of a reaction, there's some truth in there for me. And you can't change a thing that you won't accept or make peace with. Do you know what I mean? And
Mm.
so then the next week I had hypnotherapy, but with a different therapist in the office. And she told me to, she used the word acceptance and baby steps. Oh my God, I thought I was going to die. And I was like, okay, that's 2 weeks in a row, universe. And it's like, because I've done a lot of different, I've done acupuncture, I've done acupressure, I've done yoga, I've done steroid shots, I've done surgery, I've done a lot of stuff. And I kind of just gotten to the point where it's like, I just don't get it. Like, what is going on? So I decided to just baby steps. Can I drink one juice today? Can I eat one salad today? Can I not analyze every single morsel that goes in my mouth? Can I notice when I'm eating to escape? Can I just, and not make a judgment about it, just in observation mode? That seems to be helping a lot. It seems to be helping making better choices. And then that led me to a weight loss program, but it's not really about weight loss. He says that the disease and weight is about some part of you that you have deemed unlovable. And when you can find that place and love it as it is, the rest will take care of itself. So that's where I am in my journey right now. I'm doing that work, and I know that it's the right work for me, because it just so like I mean, like I couldn't sleep for like days. I just kind of wrestled with it, and I was like, oh yeah, like all the, oh yeah, that, yeah, that place, that experience, that. And so it's a very gentle program, but it requires some rigorous radical honesty, and a commitment, like you said, to the cold, right? To pushing outside your comfort zones. And so, but in a weird way, it feels really good, because I feel like I've been looking for this answer my whole adult life. I've found some stuff from like 23 years ago that I didn't even realize I was toting around, some hurts. And I feel like I must be definitely moving in the right direction too, because some old incompletions that I hadn't noticed were incomplete have popped up, people from my past popping up. And my willingness just to like answer the phone or have a conversation has resulted in their apologies and saying things to me I never thought that I would hear. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm just going to keep doing this work over here, because that seems to be cleaning up stuff over there, even with my son. So it's not easy, I would say. It's not comfortable, but it has its, I can definitely feel I'm on the right track. I feel more alive every day than I've felt in years.
Nice. If you feel that incremental growth, if you're like a little bit lighter every day, then you know you're on the right track. Just a little bit of expansion, like just a little bit of ease, just a
Yes,
little bit of letting go, a little bit of peace. Like you just know that you're going the right way. You feel a little optimistic about something, right? I'm
absolutely.
seeing some signals that I'm going the right direction.
Absolutely. That's exactly where I am. That's exactly what's happening.
That's what you need to have to know that you're going in the right way. So, I would just encourage you to use your imagination. Like that's where we have to grow all things. Like if we want to grow something that we've never had, if we want to grow health and we've never had it, if we want to grow wealth and we've never had it, if we want to grow love, we never had it, grow it in a place that we never, that it's fallen behind. We just have to like just kind of picture that like happening in our life, and allow our vision in our mind, our imagination to like grow it in there. Like before there was a light bulb, you had to imagine a light bulb. Someone had to imagine a light bulb. So
Yes.
before you're going to love yourself, you'd have to imagine yourself filling with love.
Mm.
Like
That was beautiful.
grow love in your mind, in your vision, in your imagination. Like imagine it. Like what would it feel like if you were the power that could heal everything in your life?
Mm.
What would it feel like if you were pure love and every breath you took, you drew up your love with every inhale? And every
Mm.
exhale, you allowed your loving energy to just bathe through your body and nurture and bring wellness to every single corner and nick and cranny of your body and your soul.
Wow.
Just imagine that. And that's how you grow it. Like if you've never had it, then you've got to first put it in your mind. Right?
Yeah, a couple months ago, I was hanging out with some friends out in nature, and she was talking about how she had this experience, and she set an intention to fall madly in love with herself. And I was like, to myself, I was like, what would that be like? I've never even had that thought. So I decided right then, right there, there's no coincidence, right? Like, what am I doing out here in a teepee? You know what I mean? Like, I'm supposed to be here. I was supposed to hear her say that. And so I said right then and there to myself, that's my intention. And of course, when you say something like that, like everything unlike it kind of pops up, right? And I got
Decision.
a little bit distracted by it, but then I realized I needed to know how deeply I was going in the other direction. And what's come from that is something really beautiful is I've never had a reverence for this gift of life. Like I've been just, like unmindful of it, if you will, right? And a deep reverence for the people I love and, being a good person in the world and not really good, but you know what I'm saying. And then I realized in this journey in the last 2 months, I was like, wait, I have no wonder I don't have a healthy body. Have like it didn't mean anything to me. Like I didn't care for it. I didn't realize it's the way I move through the world. It's the way I give my gifts. It's more than just my mouth and what I write. You know what I mean? And then it was like for a split second, almost in panic, like, oh my God, how do you have reverence for something you have never had reverence before? And I thought, well, you know what it's like to be reverent about something. Practice you. Like, how do you talk to yourself? What kind of energy do you have in your room? Like, just, and so it's just that reverence is like
A
growing.
relationship to it. Like the feels like this over here, so maybe I can feel that over here. And that's the same thing. Like when you sit in the cold water, you can be in there and be like panicking, or you can sit in it and you just be like, you know what? Like it's cold, and there's things that are cold, and that's okay. Just it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's all right. It's cold.
Yeah.
It's all right. It's just to find peace in the discomfort. It's to press into that uncomfortable place and find some ease there,
Oh, I like that. Mm.
right? Just
Hmm.
wherever you feel like you want to have coffee, but you're not having coffee today and it feels uncomfortable. This is the uncomfortable place. Like find some peace here. Like I
Yeah.
feel like eating and I'm not eating and I feel uncomfortable and I'm angry and I'm upset. Like find some peace there. And
Mm.
then once you have some peace there, then it'll be okay. You won't feel bad. You won't need to go and eat some food to feel better because you'll have peace in food or no food.
Yes.
It's when I have the choice to eat or not eat that's when I have choice. When I need to eat, I have to eat. I need to drink coffee. I have to have breakfast. I have because I have to because I have to because I have to. Then I'm not free.
No.
No,
No.
freedom is the ability to say no. I don't want to have it today, and be comfortable with that. So you have to push into the discomfort to find the ease. You have to push the physical thing away and recognize that, oh, I can fulfill that within myself. And that's how I find that inner feeling, that inner center, that
Yes. That's beautiful. So I want to tell you how synchronistic what you just said is. Um, uh, studied A Course in Miracles for a few years, and there's a line in there that ours isn't to. It's basically the whole premise of it is to remove all the barriers to the awareness of love's presence. And so for a year, I went on a quest, not love of a partner, but of myself, of life. Right? I went on a quest to notice all of my barriers to love's presence and then let them go. And that turned out beautifully, and it turned into 2 years. Well, sometime last year, that word changed to freedom, and it changed to free yourself. And so it was like, then you begin getting to notice all the ways that I bind myself up. And you just described some really beautifully, right? And so then with everything happening in the world, I've been a teacher of adults and facilitator and spirituality and metaphysics and meditation. And you know that I've been doing that for a long time. Anyway, so it came to me to change it from free yourself to free ourselves. And I just launched it last night. I did my first Zoom call. So here you are giving me a new piece about freeing myself. Like we were supposed to be on the phone having this conversation, getting that. And I'm like, man, that piece you said about the discomfort, I'm going to quote you this coming week. I love giving credit to where credit is due, about that's where the peace comes. Because what I was noticing is we keep looking for out here in the world for these people to do right and these people to do right and these people to do right, and then I'll be free. We keep waiting, right? I'll be happy when I have more money, when I'm smaller, which I have been super guilty of waiting for
When
everything
the
since my
Democrats
teenage
get in
years.
power, when the Republicans get in power, when they stop doing this, or when this starts
Yes,
happening, or when this
yes.
starts happening, or when they get the vaccination, then I'll be happy. We need to do it right now.
Yes. So when you just said, right, like right here, find peace. If I eat, I have peace. If I don't eat, I have peace. Right here, right now, that's where our freedom comes. But don't make it conditional upon anything outside of ourselves, because the only person creating the prison, if you will, is us, right? Is us. Is us. Exactly.
I think we're
So
gonna figure it out together over here.
I think so. I think so. I think so. I think so.
We'll figure
Luckily,
it together over here.
yes, yes. So I love that piece that you just said, because I was wondering why some days I can fast for a day, 6 days, and then boom. And you just gave me that piece about, if today I'm eating, be at peace. If I'm not eating today,
Yeah.
find peace.
Find peace with eating and find peace with not eating. And then this is the thing, what I recommend is actually to fast and then repeat, and then fast and then relax, and then fast and then relax. Like this process of giving it and taking it away, giving it and taking it away, is the practice. This is the practice that you must do again and again and again, because every time you go through the practice, you gain a growth in the result. Like you get better at this skill because you're practicing this skill, like of finding ease in the discomfort. And you can practice that in any way. You can practice that with cold water. You can practice that with not having your coffee. You can practice that with not eating your meat for the week, for Monday to Friday, and eating it on the weekend. Like it's not about elimination, people. It's about creating a healthy boundary and balance in your life and being able to enjoy it when I'm over here and enjoy it when I'm over there. So there's not a conditional situation. That
Right?
way
It's not an
I'm
either or,
loving,
it's a both and. Yes.
that way I'm loving both because I'm between two. I'm neutral. Love is neutral. The middle way. Buddha
Yes.
said the middle way. Be
Yes.
the breath supports the two. Distilled water is neutral. Breath supports left
Oh,
and right brain. It supports all. It doesn't say the man is right and the woman is wrong. It doesn't say the woman is right and the man is wrong. The breath supports the masculine and the feminine. The breath supports all of you. Just breathe. Just be the breath. Just
yes.
watch the breath. That's okay. Don't attach to the thought. Let go of all thought and just breathe with that. Just
Yes.
that. Just be present. Just be present with it.
Yes, yes, yes. Speaking my language, I'm actually reading a book called Letting Go. It's an older book, David Hawkins. Are you familiar with his work?
No, I'm not. David Hawkins.
He wrote Power versus Force. He has a lot of them. One of the things I think he's most known
Stephen
for is
Hawkins. Stephen Hawkins, I know, not David.
no, David Hawkins is this guy. He's some type of doctor, but he talks about this map of consciousness. And you talk about it indirectly a lot in your posts. And the map of consciousness, basically, if you would, I'm going to call it, for lack of a better word, is a scale, right? And certain energies or emotions and feelings are like down at the bottom. Like there's stuff below fear. And then courage is at about 200. And it's all about like, so, and peace
Frequency
is,
and vibration, yes.
yes, so that's what it is.
Resonance,
That's
yes.
what it is. And so what you're talking about, that peace, finding peace, with each one, loving each one, right? That's what he would be saying as letting go. Like one isn't better than the other. As the story goes, events are neutral. It's the story that we make up about them, you know? And so what you're saying though about like love all of it was reminding me of that, because I've been asking myself, so what am I holding on to that's holding me back? Like what beliefs, what behaviors am I holding on to? And again, that course, the weight loss course, the other piece that he said that really resonated with me was someone who has a deep connection with spirit, was he was like, your dis-ease and your weight is, like I said, spirit trying to get your attention, because it's got gifts it wants to give as you and it can't do it where you are. And I was like, what? And I had a stroke when I was 25, and then 6 months after that I was in a horrible car accident. And so I was like, wow, you've been trying to get my attention a really long time and I've not been paying
Shoving it
attention.
down, putting it away. It's not time. It's not, don't do it now. I don't have time for you.
Yeah, exactly,
Busy. I got to
totally
take care of
shoving
these
it
kids.
away.
I got to do this. I got to work. I got to pay these bills. I got to do this. I got to be. I got to be. I got to do. I got to.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Until
yeah,
finally we go, you know what? I got to do me for a second. Hang on. Hold
yes.
everything. Wait a second. Until I get this right, nothing else going to happen.
Exactly, exactly, exactly. And I felt
Yeah, we
like
got to get to that point.
the last piece was the body. It's like so funny whenever I've gone for physicals, they're like, huh, your blood pressure is like really good. I was like, yeah, I eat a lot of kale, drink a lot of green juice, and meditate every day. They're like, huh, let's prick your blood. You don't have diabetes. You're not pre-diabetic. I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm not sick. I'm just fat. you
Oh,
know, and I'm not making an excuse for that. You know what I mean? That's what I tell them. And I'm like, they're like, you need to move more. They're like, oh, you're trapped in that cycle. Your joints hurt. It's hard to move. You don't move. I'm like, yes. And if I have a good day, I don't go bonkers. I'll go for a walk. I know, like, let's go 5 minutes. Let's see how we feel. Let's lean on this tree. Maybe we'll head back. So that's 10 minutes, and then that'll feel good. So the next day I notice I go just a little bit further. I'm not trying to push it further. I just notice that I walk maybe to whatever further. And then I'll cross the street. And sometimes I disconnect a little bit. And then I think, oh, okay, I'll go to there. My mind gets engaged instead of listening to my body. And then I find myself the next day like too much. So I'm trying to figure out what that piece is. Or can I just start with something you said is bringing this up for me? Can I just start with, can I just walk for 5 minutes? And then when I've got some traction and some momentum, and that's not creating more like unbearable pain because I don't take any medication for it, then up it. It's the baby
yes,
steps and
yes.
that
Just
gentle.
commit to a 5 minute commitment. Make a 5 minute commitment. I'm going to walk 5 minutes every morning at 9 or 9:30 or 10 or whatever it's your comfortable time, 7 a.m., whatever it's going to be. You're going to commit to 5 minutes of walking every day on that time. So what you want to do when you want to create like success is you have to create something that you can repeat. It has to
uh
be repeatable.
oh, that's good.
I have to be able to repeat it. I have to be able to attain it. I have to be able to do it again and again, because if that lets me know, oh, I can do this.
Gotcha.
Once I know I can do this, then I can do the next thing. But I got to bite it off in chunks. I got to create a successful habit that I can reproduce. Once
Understood.
I can reproduce it, then I can look at my habit and then I can evaluate. Go, I did it like this and it went really good and I saw this and I saw that, but this is what I'm going to do next.
Gotcha.
Once you've got a system, you can look at the system, you can evaluate it, go, oh, this is good, but I want to add this, or I want to add that, or I want to change this, or I want to change that about it, or I want to add this or add that. But
That
whatever it is I got to have a plan, and then I got to be able to look at it, evaluate it, and then tweak it to make it better.
makes so much
Keep
sense.
on tweaking it every single day, it just gets better and better and better and better and better.
Gotcha.
You got to have a model that you're reproducing, right? You got to have a system.
That makes a ton of sense. That makes a ton of sense. Thank you for that piece as well. Yeah, I like that a lot. I like that a lot.
We're going to figure it out, I think, together.
Yeah. Cool. How did it go Sunday? You did your first meditation and breathing. Was that this past
Breath
Sunday?
work, yoga, meditation, a little coaching time, just talking like this, just free talking, just sharing, because this is it. When two souls come together and share, then people benefit, people grow, each other grows. Like we're both sharpening our saws, we're both lighting our lights from within, from each other, right?
Absolutely.
That's how it
Absolutely.
happens. That's how it happens.
Absolutely. And the ripple effect is beautiful. Yeah, for sure. For sure.
It's been a pleasure, Alva.
Yes. Thank you so much. I'm glad we finally got the chance to meet.
I mean, I hope you'll join in on one of my Sunday coaching.
Yeah, I definitely will. I can't say exactly when, because right now I'm going to use my Saturdays and Sundays to try to help out with that little one who's not sleeping very much and driving everyone.
Your baby, your new granddaughter, grandson.
Yeah, the 4-year-old said he needs headphones. I was like, why do you need headphones? He's like, the baby quiet, so loud, baby. I'm like, oh. So today I was talking to my daughter for a half a second, FaceTime, and he came in the room. I said, what you doing? He said, it's quiet in here with mama. I was like, that's how he talks, but he's like, that's too much talking. I was like, coming from you who talks from the moment you wake up until you go to sleep. But I get it. I said, well, honey, his tummy hurts. He's like, well, fix it, BB. His tummy hurts all the time. So I'm glad you said something about putting yourself first, because I love my therapist was like, you're very selfless and we need you to be selfless with you now. So that's what I'm working on.
It's a very feminine thing. This is the feminine energy, is to be selfless, right? It's an energy that's capable of loving beyond itself. Like it will actually be a martyr. It will kill itself. This is the unfortunate aspect of femininity. Like it will love to its own detriment.
That's what I've done. I've made a lifetime.
This is what the feminine energy will do.
Well, I'm not doing that anymore.
We need to develop the masculine part of ourselves.
Yes.
Develop the masculine part of the self. Well, the masculine part of the self is the decision maker. Is the one that makes the choice. Is the one that makes the decision. So I'm the deciding for myself. Like I am the power in my life. I am the creator of my life. I am in charge of my life.
Yes.
I am worthy. I am valuable. I believe in myself. I am good. I am love. I love myself. I love me. I love you. 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 Say it 100 times to yourself before lunchtime.
Okay. I will definitely do that. And that I feel alignment with that, not just because you said it, just because of the work that I'm doing, like both. And there was like this moment where I wanted to like rescue, and then I said, wait a minute, I raised 2 kids by myself. They can do this. This is when I could help. this is when's good for me to help. This is what won't throw me out of balance that I'm trying to create for myself because
Decisions
it's
in your
still,
masculine mind, those are choices, those are decisions, those are boundaries. And that's what has to be made is you've got to make new boundaries, realistic boundaries that allow you to be, to give love to you, to just work on your walks, to work on your fitness, to work on yourself, to work on you,
yes,
to bring yourself into your very best that you always wanted to be, but you couldn't because you had these kids. And you had to be mom for these kids. And I understand, like, we know we got to do what we got to do. But now it's my
yeah,
time. It's my time now.
it's my time
Did
now.
what I had to do, and now it's my time.
Yes, yes, yes. Get some rest, my friend. I don't know what time you get up, but I know 4:30 seems to come awful quick.
All right. I will see you again soon.
Yes, you
We'll
will
do
see me
this
on a
again.
Sunday.
We'll do this again. We'll connect sometime.
All right. You have a beautiful evening.
Welcome. See you. Bye-bye. Lovely.
Thank you.
Bye.
There we go. How do I hang this up?